Hey everybody, Jessica with Sculptistry here, and welcome to our 12 days of Christmas. So this is day 1, and we are going to be making a Sansa's Elf tumbler. Okay, so you're going to watch me basically mess this up. I tried to speed it up as much as possible, but you guys keep asking me to show my mistakes instead of cutting them out, so here you go. Mistake number 1 is I spray painted this cup gold. Such a pretty color. However, this, double-sided tape, gave me a little bit of trouble because it's on a curved tumbler. Okay, so you'll see me here basically putting these stripes on here and then removing them to get to the stainless steel part. Okay, so basically the double-sided tape really did not like the gold spray paint. I'm not sure if it's because it was a metallic paint or if it would be like this even if it were a regular primed cup. Okay, so I would recommend you guys doing this on a stainless steel tumbler. Most of the polyester glitters that are being sold in the community are very well pigmented. Okay, so I'm confident that if you did this on a stainless steel tumbler, you really wouldn't see much of the silver coming through. Okay, so basically I just took my double-sided tape and I kind of just put it around. I was gonna do multiple stripes along this tumbler, but this gave me such a hard time that I was like, you know what, I'm doing 3 stripes. And so I continued to do that. So I'm gonna speed up that part. If you guys have any questions about this, let me know. If you have any suggestions on what I could have done better, also let me know. Okay. Y'all, I was struggling. Do you hear me? I literally at this point was contemplating if I was even going to do this tumbler. Like, this continued to give me a hard time. I know I'm out of frame here, but it continued to give me a hard time each single time. And finally, I got it. I took the back part of my scissors and I just kind of pressed it into the tumbler. And at this point, I don't even care about the imperfections. Like, I'm like, thank God I got this tape on here. I just need to get this glitter on here. You will continue to see me struggle with the middle part of the tape and the top part, okay? Because basically everything that I did, I got to do again. Okay, again, that's why there are only 3 stripes on this tumbler. But I have to give a special shout out to Glitz to Glam Glitters. That is the glitter that I'm using. This green right here is absolutely gorgeous. She's calling it Emerald City. It is very pigmented, as you can see, and all I'm doing is sprinkling it on to this sticky tape, and then I'm just pressing it in to get it really good. Do that as much as you possibly can, okay? And, you know, take your little brush and remove the excess. That is one great thing about the double-sided tape or tumbler tape from Nicole Kemper. If you haven't checked her out, Lindsay and Nicole, you know, the great thing about those type of tapes are they're, you know, once you add the glitter, you really don't have to worry about too much, you know, glitter spreading to another part of your tumbler. Okay, so here I go again, and I'm like, ugh, I gotta take it off, and I'm just gonna let y'all watch. Remember, y'all asked for this, okay? So don't be coming at me in the comment section talking about anything. You guys asked me to see the process, and this is exactly what I do, what I go through sometimes to get the right look. Okay, so here you go. Okay, so the pink color is called Boysenberry. It is also from Glitz to Glam. Okay, I'm gonna have her website linked in the description bar of this video. Also, right now in my Facebook group, we're doing a giveaway, and she was nice enough to sponsor with a gift card to her site. So if you want to come through and enter to win, come on over. Okay, and this color is called Polar Glitz. I had to go and make sure I had the name right. It is super shiny, super glittery, super sparkly. I am in love with this glitter. It is a 0.15, so it's not a extra fine or fine. It's like a medium. It's not a chunky, if that makes sense. But it's absolutely gorgeous. So I just took it and rubbed it in. Now here's the thing, because you know, the middle part where I put that double-sided tape in right there, because that was completely silver, it's gonna give me more of a white look, you see, where I'm gonna add the same color, the Polar Glitz, on the top and the bottom of the tumbler, and it's gonna give it more of a champagne look. Okay, so that's another little hack for you if you want like a champagne color, you know, tumbler, and you can't find the glitter. You can just spray paint your tumbler gold and then have a nice white, you know, iridescent glitter, and that will, you know, make this pretty color. You'll see in a second. So I am using Tack-It. I am almost out of Tack-It, so you'll see me scraping the bottom of this bottle to get it, and I'm just gonna apply Tack-It on the top of the tumbler and the bottom, and then I'm just going to sprinkle this glitter on top and bottom. Okay, so in this set, which is the Sansa Elf set, you get a pair of booties, you get a hat or a Santa hat, which you see there. It comes with a straw hole, so it's not a removable topper, it's a fixable topper. You get a handle and some buttons. You get 3 buttons, okay, all in the set. And for the booties, I wanted to do stockings. So this again is not my original idea. I actually saw some ceramic mugs on Etsy, and I was like, oh, that would be cool to make into a tumbler. Okay, I couldn't find the artist name though, so if you know who it is, please go ahead and put that down there so I can tag her or him in the description as an inspired by creation. Okay, but I am going to be struggling with this um, double-sided tape again so I can go ahead and create the stripes on the stockings. Okay, I did not paint the 3D piece. Okay, I did not paint it. I just went straight in, and I'm just gonna go ahead and add my colors. The great thing about this glitter brand, again, it's very pigmented. You can't really see any of the color come through once you put this on. Okay, so go check her out and get you some glitter. Okay, so mistake number 2 is thinking that I would be able to layer the stripes. No, the way the legs are shaped, they're not straight, they're curvy, right? And so the double-sided tape was picking up the colors of the glitter. Even though I'm out of frame, that should be mistake number 3. But you know, I had to remove the double-sided tape and then just add it one by one. Okay, so that's something you can do as well to save on your time. Or to be honest with you, just like I'm gonna show you guys in the next tutorial, you could just paint it and then add some white glitter in your epoxy and then go over it for a shimmery look. To be honest with you, it might save you a lot of headache and time. I do like the way the double-sided tape looks. It just sometimes can be a little fussy to deal with, and so if you don't want to deal with it, you can just go ahead and paint it. I went ahead, and you'll see at the end of the video, I went ahead and did some vinyl stripes, some gold vinyl stripes. So if you have any imperfections from painting, you can just kind of cover those up with the stripes. Okay, so it's up to you, whatever you feel comfortable with. Here I am adding the second color again, and I'm just going to alternate the Emerald City Polar Glitz and then I want to say it's boysenberry, I forget, that color. And then the very top one, I'm gonna get a smaller piece of double-sided tape and just add it at the top, and that will be white. I believe I did white. Okay, so if I didn't mention it before, because I've noticed a lot of my subscribers, thank you guys for subscribing to my channel, which is growing, and I appreciate it so much. You guys got to come over to the Facebook group. You know, we're having a lot of fun in there, but I will say a lot of you may be beginners or intermediate crafters, and so I'm gonna try to explain and not just assume that you guys will know what I'm doing. Okay, so whenever you are adding glitter to something, you need to seal it. Okay, so you'll see a lot of artists talk about Rust-Oleum or Krylon clear sealer. There's even so many other glitter sealers by different brands. So in between, you know, my colors, like on my tumbler, I went ahead and sealed that outside with my Rust-Oleum clear coat. a very generous layer, so that way when it is time to epoxy this tumbler, I don't have to worry about all the glitters mixing together. Okay, and so for each one of these legs, I'm doing the same thing. Okay, so each time I add my glitter, I'm gonna go ahead and take it outside and seal it. Okay, and then let that dry before I epoxy it. Okay, and so everything that I did on the right foot, I got to do on the left foot. Okay, I don't think you guys want to sit through that and watch that, so I am gonna cut that part out. I use Tack It on the feet. Tack It is the glue that I use. You can get that at Michael's or Amazon. And then for the little balls on the top of the toes or the boots, I did gold leaf. So that case that you see there is my gold leaf. I highly recommend you get this one. You'll find so many others, but these are big sheets and I love the case. I've had this for a very long time. Okay, I will link that in the description bar as well. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the next part. Well, you guys might want to see me add the gold leaf, so that's all I'm doing. Tack It is the glue of choice, and I am just adding that all over this ball, trying to get it as covered as I possibly can. And then I'm going to let that dry. Once it dries, I'm going to go ahead and add the gold leaf. Okay, so this part is pretty self-explanatory. These are the buttons that come in the kit. And I am going to put them on. I'm trying to strategically place them wherever I see my imperfections, just to kind of cover it up. But I needed to make sure that they were spaced properly. And so I just went ahead and added them onto this. This tumbler is not epoxy. As you can see, this is glitter and it's not even sealed yet. Okay, so go ahead and get your favorite glue. I am going to be using hot glue. I'm going to be using hot glue because it works, it's quick, it's fast, it's cheap. It's pretty permanent. Okay, I'm going to be sealing this anyway with epoxy, so I wasn't concerned. And so I look back at my reference photo and I am just getting my hot glue gun and I'm going to add these buttons right on. Once I add them on, I'm going to go ahead and use Tack It to add my gold leaf again, and then I'm going to go outside and seal it all in. Y'all, I'm so sorry about being out of frame so many times. The way my camera is set up, you would have to see it to understand. But this is the finished part of the tumbler. It's looking so cute. I'm loving the gold leaf. I am now getting ready to do the handle, and guess what the handle is? It is striped too. I really did contemplate, like, do I want to do this again or what? But I'm very happy with the finished product, so I did it. Yeah. So if you want to do stripes, again, you could either do it with painting or you can do it with the double-sided tape. Up to you. Okay, we are done with the tumbler, we are done with the handle, we're done with the booties, and now we're gonna assemble. Again, like I told you in the middle or beginning of this video, I like to use hot glue to assemble my pieces. I find that it is easier, like I said, because if I did mess up, I could go ahead and just heat it up and remove it. But it's up to you. The key to this is making sure that your feet and your tumbler are level. Okay, so you see here I put my two legs together, and then I'm going to take my hot glue and I am going to add it to both parts of the feet, the booties. All right, and then I'm going to place my tumbler right on there. I have not sealed this in. This is still a work in progress, okay? And I am pushing down and making sure that it is level, okay? Not moving too far back and not too far up. That is the key to this, okay? Once you have your feet done, you want to move on to your handle. And I went ahead and did the same process. I just added some glue right on the edges there, and I am adding my handle pretty much all the way up top, just to make sure that it does sit flush on the tumbler. I will highly suggest also that you don't hold your tumbler in your hand, like make sure it's flat on the table. I talked about that in some of my other tutorials as well, because it will look like it's straight and it's really not. So just go ahead and have it straight up on your tumbler. And then after you do that, guys, you just want to last looks. If any of you guys watched Project Runway, this is last looks. You just want to make sure everything is good to go. Okay, I'm loving it so far. I'm going to take it back outside and seal all of it in one more time with Rust-Oleum Clear, and then I am going to epoxy it. Okay, but my next step is this topper, so let's get to it. I use Tack It for this entire project. I really don't mess with Mod Podge anymore. Mod Podge and I do not have a great relationship, okay? I did not have to spray paint this or anything like that because it's already white. And so I'm just adding Tack It to the brim. I'm going to go ahead and take the white glitter and I'm going to go ahead and add that in. Once I finish that, I'm going to go ahead and seal this with the clear coat. Okay, I have to seal it to make sure that it doesn't move around. Then I'm going to go ahead and paint this other part, the top part of the hat, a purplish color that matched the glitter. And then I'm going to go ahead and glitter it. That's pretty much it. And then you'll see the next steps of when I go ahead and seal it all in. Okay, I will be using Counterculture's DIY's Fast Set. I dare you to say that 10 times fast. Most, if not all, resin yellows over time. So keep that in mind. I do know you can add a drop of blue alcohol ink to help with the yellowing, but it may change the color of your glitter. Okay, so just kind of keep that in mind when you're designing and trying out different fast setting brands. Okay, so this glitter again is a 0.15 mix. So it is, I don't want to call it chunky, but it is textured. Okay, so I am very liberally applying this epoxy. Also, mistake number 100 would be I added a little bit of that glitter into the epoxy. And I worked so hard on keeping the colors separate. I don't know why I did that. Maybe it's just force a habit. But either way, I took my tumbler in my hand instead of doing this on my turner because I felt like I had more control. And I literally am just adding as much epoxy as I can. You will even start to see it like drip off. I'm trying to coat this as much as I can, so that way I can minimize my sanding for the next round. I am gonna have to sand no matter what, but I really don't like sanding, so I try to do a really good, epoxy application. Okay, so you just want to get it on there as much as you can. You see that I did not glitter the bottom of the feet. I wanted to make sure that it stood up with no wobbling, and I did not, again, want to have to sand down if it did. So although I epoxied it, I did not glitter it. Or although I'm going to epoxy it, I didn't glitter it. But you want to make sure it looks nice. I wound up painting the bottom of the feet and then epoxying over that. All right. So yeah, that is pretty much the Tumbler tutorial part. I'm gonna go ahead and let you finish watching this, and then I'm gonna go ahead and go on to the hat. I will say this, mistake number 1000 would be the fact that I put the feet on before. I kind of felt like had I epoxied the feet separately, like I did with the gnome, breast cancer gnome tutorial, it would have been a little easier to kind of get in the nooks and crannies. So that's something for you to think about, which one you want to do. Do you want to kind of just really take your paintbrush and get all in there, or your finger and get all in there, or are you more comfortable with doing this, one by one? Okay, and so I am just kind of working it as much as I can to get this epoxy everywhere that it can be, and then I'll put it back on my tumbler turner so it can get going. Okay. I hope you guys are liking this so far. I think it's coming out really nicely. I do see a lot of imperfections, but you see the champagne color on the top and the bottom. That is because those parts still had the gold spray paint, and the one in the middle was where I ripped it all off. So that's why it looks like that. But I like it because it kind of matches the handle and the booties. Okay, so, and the hat. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and speed this part up, and I'll come back when it's time to do the hat, because that is mistake number 1,000,000. Okay, so mistake number 1 million is the fact that I went to sleep. Okay, that was a mistake. And I'm kind of glad I did, because you guys will be able to see what you can do if you ask, you got to go out, or you're like, you don't have time to babysit this tumbler. But after you sand it and everything like that, you want to, um, you know, after you let this cure, of course, you're going to sand your tumbler, and then you're going to take, I like to take tissue paper and some alcohol, spray it down to get it all debris free. I like to take a nail file, and that helps me get in all the nooks and crannies of wherever I need to get in. I really did take my time in sanding. I'm not going to I'm going to spare you in watching me sand this tumbler, but I really did take my time. Again, the white, the pinkish and greenish color glitter was perfectly fine. Like, it didn't have any real rough spots. I would call, even though it is considered a 0.15, I would call that like a fine glitter, maybe in between. Sometimes it's hard to tell, but the 0.15 is, again, it's a different type of texture. So I found that that glitter caused me to have to sand even more. Okay, so I just have a nail file, guys, and a little sanding block, and I just went to town on this tumbler, and I was not gentle at all. And I just kind of got it as smooth as I could, so that my next glitter application potentially could be my last glitter application. And so I'm just going to go ahead now and show you what I did with the tumbler, because this part is pretty self-explanatory. Okay, so don't mind those stripes. I will explain mistake 10 million later. Okay, but right now I'm taking my heat gun, and I am heating up this. Again, I went to sleep, so there was pooling. Pooling means epoxy just dripped down onto my silicone mat. When I removed the hat, I had this big rim of epoxy. So if you go back and watch any of my tutorials, even down to the first tutorial, maybe not the first one, but when I started doing 3D tumblers, I tell you to get you some cuticle cutters. Like, it's my favorite tool. I use them in all the things that I create, because number one, you can hold in your hand easily, and they're sharp enough to go and strong enough to go ahead and cut away what you needed to cut. So had I not fallen asleep and stayed up, then I would have been able to catch this, and while the epoxy was still not wet but pliable, I would have been able just to cut it away and then press it down. But because I didn't do that, this is what I had to do. So if this happens to you, and I'm sorry I'm out of frame, but if this happens to you, just get you some cuticle cutters. Amazon, Target. I do not recommend. Uh, I get mine from Walmart or Target. Some people have told me they got them from Walmart. I mean, from Dollar Tree. I don't know the strength on those, but you can use those to cut away your piece, and then you are going to sand your piece very well. I'm still out of frame, but you're going to sand your piece very well, get rid of the glitter, inside, and you're going to kind of fix it basically. Okay. I have to fix it because it can't go out looking like that, right? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to sand it, and I'm going to add some UV resin along the top part, and I'm going to use that as my glue, and I'm going to go ahead and glitter it, put it under the light, and then it'll be ready for me to epoxy. Okay, I decided to go ahead and glitter the inside of this topper just because I had messed up with the paint, and I wanted everything to look cohesive. So that's what I decided to do. If you don't mess up with the paint, you do not need to epoxy this. These pieces can get wet, but they do dry as well. Okay, so tell your customer, don't soak them, just the standard care instructions that come with tumblers. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and speed up this part. I have got to work on getting my camera right. I mean, I cannot believe that I worked so hard on this tumbler and half of the video footage that I did is out of frame. So y'all, forgive me for that. But I did want to show you the process and how I did all of this. So here I'm just sanding, and then I'm gonna go ahead and do my thing. Okay, so let's get back to these stripes real quick. After I sanded my tumbler and wiped it off with my alcohol, I had the idea that, of course, I want to hide the imperfections that I made, okay, because I have some bleeding where the different color the different color glitters kind of ran into another, and I really wanted it to look really neat. So I had this gold vinyl here, and I was like, oh, that'll look so pretty. It's nice and chromish, or metallic, whatever. And so I went ahead on my Cricut, cut the lines. If you don't know, you just take a rectangle and you just drag it down. You can make it as thick or as tiny as you want. And I went ahead and added lines all over this tumbler, okay? Like literally from the top and the bottom, from every color separation. And as it was on the turner, I'm looking at it turn, and I'm just kind of like, this is going to give me a hard time with when I epoxy this. I was like, I do not want to have struggled with this tumbler, and now I'm going to have trouble with the epoxy application. I just felt like it wasn't smooth enough. You know, it's a thicker type of vinyl, and so I kind of felt like this is, and I contemplated for a while, and I was like, you could do it, maybe you'll have to do another epoxy application after this one, you might have to sand again, blah 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 blah. And then I was just like, you know what, no, I'm taking all of this off. And I went ahead and removed every line of this metallic gold. I went ahead and got a piece of scrap vinyl of another gold, and I went ahead and recut the lines, and then went ahead and added it onto my tumbler. And I'm very happy I did it that way, because it's flat, it was smooth, the vinyl was able to be stretched, and I was able to add it to the curves, so sometimes your vinyl that you choose, even though it's pretty, it just may not be the best vinyl for your project, so you'll have to decide which one works best for you. Okay, so you see here I have the Sansa hat upside down on one of those little medicine cups. I went ahead and did the gold ball. You saw me do that earlier. There's really nothing to say. All I'm doing now is sealing all of this in, okay? I did decide to get a paintbrush, and I'm going to remove some of the pooling that happens inside of the Santa hat, because I didn't want it like dunked with epoxy, but I'm basically going to just seal in my tumbler, once again, because this will be the second coat of epoxy, and I'm going to go ahead and do the inside of the Santa hat. Okay. Another way you guys could brand your toppers is getting a tumbler tag. I talked about this in some of my previous videos, but those acrylic tumbler tags, you can go ahead and use one of those inside, and that's a way for you to be able to brand it. Okay. Because I know a lot of us, we don't have a way to actually brand it unless we actually write our names on the bottom, or if we're blinging something we can do it. But if you have a topper, you can go ahead and put a tumbler tag inside, and it'll look beautiful, elegant, and still have your brand on it. And lastly, we want to go ahead and add our topper to our lid. You want to make sure your epoxy is fully cured. I waited overnight, and then I went ahead and got my hot glue gun. Okay, and I am lining it up for the straw hole. So for this, I'm using a Tipsy Magnolia 12-ounce wine tumbler. So the handle, it's not a mug, well, y'all saw that earlier. It's a wine tumbler. So I'm not sure if all the brands are this way, but this little sliding mechanism pops out very easily. And so once I pop this out, I'm gonna go ahead and line up the straw hole, okay, with the straw hole on the lid. Okay, and then I'm gonna kind of take my hand and hold it there, and take my hot glue gun with my other hand, and then just add a bead of hot glue all the way through, or all the way around that that space to kind of make sure that I have a nice tight seal. Okay, so this step is optional. If you're okay with the, hot glue look, then you can leave it like that. Personally, I like to camouflage a lot of my imperfections, the ones that I can. So I'm taking a little bit of UV resin and a little bit of that Polar Glitz glitter, and I'm gonna go ahead and add that to the UV resin, get my paintbrush, and I'm going to cover up the hot glue. Yep. And so the way you want to do this, I guess you can imagine you're a nail tech, or some of you may be nail techs, and you see them adding the gel or acrylic onto your nails. You're just going to take your brush and you're just going to push it, and pat it onto that area of the lid. Okay. And you are going to cure it under your UV light. And then once you're finished with that, you're going to lightly sand it, and then you are going to epoxy it one last time, and then you are done. And there you have it, guys. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed seeing the process. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this video, and head over to our Facebook group where we're having so much fun doing giveaways and contests.